Surveillance of American citizens is already here, if you didn't know, and the party that's actively and unapologetically doing it is the party that supposedly believes in small government. The Texas state government is deeply red, and this red government already has demonstrated that it has no problem overreaching into local politics and even individual people's lives. Here in blue Houston, for example, the party of small government has been actively interfering in the Houston Independent School District for some time, and it's way more involved in Harris County local elections than it should be. Our Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, is actively trying to close a loophole in Texas government that would ban any and all THC products in the state, which would mean that hundreds of businesses would have to close overnight across the state unless our governor, for some reason, vetoes all of it. Patrick doesn't even like hemp, and I eat hemp almost every day. It's a good source of protein, and frankly, I don't get enough protein in my diet. I certainly don't get high off of the hemp seeds that I sprinkle over my yogurt and fruit. But so what if I did? Small government, let me live. Also, book bans are still a thing here. Romeo and Juliet might be next on the chopping block because of sex. By the way, anyone can still just buy a gun here in Texas because, small government, personal freedoms, blah, blah, blah. They're a bunch of hypocrites. Anyway, that's just part of life here in Texas, but apparently now so is this. A Texas woman recently self-administered an abortion, which is a thing that we all said was going to happen if they enact restrictive abortion laws in the state. She probably did it because here in Texas, women no longer feel safe going to doctors or clinics for pregnancy-related problems, and they have good reason for feeling that way. But in May, Texas authorities absolutely had to find this evil woman because apparently there was nothing else for them to do. To find her, they searched 83,000 automatic license plate reader cameras across the entire country looking for this woman. And yes, we're all already being watched by these cameras. The company that makes these ALPR cameras is called Flock, and the cameras are typically marketed and sold as crime and theft deterrents. That's how they get you though. Everything is about safety and protection, or maybe just convenience, until it's not, until it's about surveillance and an invasion of personal privacy. Those Ring cameras, same thing. Alexa, get out of here. I never trusted her. I don't even like having my phone in the same room as me most of the time, and I talk about this stuff on the internet. But SCOTUS decided that abortion was a states' rights issue, so why is Texas looking at cameras in other states? Once the woman is in another state, Texas should not be able to enforce its dumb laws there. Kate Bertash of the Digital Defense Fund, who researches both ALPR systems and abortion surveillance, told 404 Media, "You have this extraterritorial reach into other states, and Flock has decided to create a technology that breaks through the barriers where police in one state can investigate what is a human right in another state because it is a crime in another." The Texas cop who initiated the search for the woman was an officer with the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. As a reason as to why he was searching the nationwide camera network, he wrote, "Had an abortion, search for female." He searched over 83,000 cameras nationwide regularly for about a month. And they keep telling us that these police departments deserve so much more of our tax dollars. The county sheriff insists that the search for this woman wasn't about trying to track her down because of the abortion itself, even though that's literally the reason the cop gave for initiating the search. Had an abortion, search for a female. The sheriff says that the woman's family was worried about her and they wanted to find her, so this was the only way to do it. And this wasn't about her abortion or about politics, it was about her safety. Like I said, everything is about safety and protection. That's how they justify imposing surveillance on an entire population, and that's why the population buys into it and supports it and even defends it. The critics to this story are the same ones who you would expect, Christians saying that this woman is a murderer and murderers should be punished. The two sides will never see eye to eye on this. We should know that by now. I'm not going to retell the two sides of the abortion debate to this audience because you guys know it hasn't changed in years. They will never understand what we on this side believe, and I know I will never believe most of the things that Christians believe. I don't want to, and if I burn in hell for it, then so be it. But I also don't believe that that's a real place, and if it is, I can't imagine that a merciful God that is worthy of worship would send me there. So getting very personal with random people on the internet for a minute, I am 36 years old. I would love to have a baby. I have not yet. Ideally, I would have moved out of Texas by the time I was ready to have a baby, but for a few different reasons, that has not happened yet. So here I am trying to get pregnant at 36 in this absolute hell of a state. To put it bluntly, I hate living here and I can't wait for the day when I don't have to do it anymore. According to my doctor, I'm so healthy that I am a boring patient, which is a good thing. I eat a very clean diet. I take my vitamins. I work out 5 or 6 days a week. I have no major chronic ailments. But all of that said, I have no idea how my body will react to a pregnancy. I've never been pregnant before. And no woman knows what her body will do once she's pregnant. You can do your best to fortify your womb and strengthen your muscles and eat your vegetables, but you have no idea what any one pregnancy will be like. And it's not just about the mother's body. Anyone who's had multiple babies will tell you that each pregnancy was different for them. I have so many friends who had a flawless pregnancy with one baby and then a deeply problematic pregnancy with another. You just don't know. And if I don't know, and if my doctor doesn't know, then the old man legislators who are running my state government, they don't know. Also, in case y'all don't know, Houston has a world-renowned medical center. We typically don't worry about receiving good medical care here, but now it's not about whether or not we have access to good doctors or good health systems. It's about what these good doctors are allowed to do within their medical practice in this particular state. So I did all of the things that I know to do to prepare myself and my body for a potential pregnancy. I went to the doctor, to a specialist, and checked everything out. I probably would have done this whether or not I lived in Texas, but since I do live here, I can less afford for something to go wrong, because if and when something does go wrong, which again is a very real possibility under the best of circumstances, I don't have as many medical options available to me to protect either my life or my fertility. And I'm not a woman who's out here trying to recklessly get pregnant and just abort a baby because I feel like it. I'm a woman who wants to have a baby but hasn't yet, because I live in Texas. I'm only doing it now very reluctantly because I haven't been able to move yet and I'm running out of time. I know plenty of Texas women, and of course I'm speaking anecdotally, but they don't want to have babies here anymore, even if they wanted to before, or they're at least thinking twice about doing so. Texas families shouldn't have to have contingency plans to, at best, flee the state, or at worst, self-administer medical treatments just in case something comes up. And a lot of people have told me to watch The Handmaid's Tale, and I haven't. I don't think I will, because I don't see what the point is. It'll just remind me of something that I'm already desperately aware of, that I live in Texas and my female life and body are sickeningly undervalued here. I'm surrounded by people whose values I don't respect or recognize, and yet those same people make the laws under which I live. And again, I'm not the only one here who feels this way. There are good people here whose voices are not being heard or adequately represented in our government. There are good people at the local levels who actively and fearlessly fight back against the overreaches of state government. Our Harris County attorney, for example, Christian Menefee, is one of those people, and he's currently running for Congress. You should look into him. Of course, if he wins, that means we'll lose him here, but hopefully there's a bench of possible successors to continue the work that he and others like him are doing. Tides are constantly changing here in Texas, which is hopeful. But as the state government continues to exploit its own power while crushing any and all opposition to its dogmatic politics, the tides aren't changing fast enough for some of us, and it's sad. Texas wasn't like this in the 90s, which I have to remind people was not that long ago. It's impressive how quickly extremism can entrench and embed itself in a place once it has been allowed to find a foothold. Republicans who unquestioningly support initiatives like this one from Republican leaders like to point out that Democrats are the party of big government, so why do Democrats have a problem with things like surveillance? They should be asking themselves why they do support things like this if they also support small government, but they seem unwilling to broach certain hypocritical or contradictory topics with themselves. At best, they'll just say that they have no problem with other people getting surveilled, especially these horrible baby-killing women. Women deserve to be watched and monitored and tracked and potentially apprehended and charged and punished for their efforts to seek health care, according to these people. But if change is inevitable, which it is, we can only do what we can in the meantime to ensure that those changes actually protect the rights and freedoms of everyone living here. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.